I want to talk about NWA 75, but before we sort of get to what you're doing there, I think is a big announcement. Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse is coming.
That
I thought that was really an interesting one, and I even said I was like, are they really going to do this? And I kind of like put the little prayer hands emoji up, and I was like, all right, like I was right about it. So what you seem excited about it? Are you down with the clowns?
yeah, everyone got the assumption that we're going to bring in Marty Scroll, and obviously they're questioning our. It kind of made me a little. It insulted me a little when people were in questioning our intelligence. Of obviously we know what Marty Scroll has done in the past, and I'm not going to assume. I don't know the story necessarily, but it really just for the wrestling fan in general to go out of their way and to shit on our products just because we gave a teaser, which I was unaware of that Marty Scrolls did the whoop whoop. I'm going to be completely realistic with you. So when the news was brought out that Violent J is coming, it was really kind of exciting and something different that Brothers of Fun Instruction kind of bring in a new environment. They brought new faces. I
Hmm.
have to admit, being an analytic guy, I always pay attention to analytics and what's going on and what's not going on. And they have brought new eyes to the product, more ratings, so to speak, newer fans, younger audiences, which is cool. So with that being said, I thought it was kind of neat to bring in Brothers Violent J with Insane Clown Posse. I'm not super familiar with his music, but I was talking to my dad about it recently, and he was like, "Dude, this is kind of exciting." It was like this is something different. It brings into our big pay per view. It's not necessarily we're going to bring it on full time, but as a special guest, sure, why not? Let's get some new eyes in the product. Let's get his culture. Maybe they come over and enjoy our style of professional wrestling.
I did listen like when I was younger, like I knew like the Joker's cards, and they had like I actually had gone to one of their JCW shows,
Yes,
and it was like a really good wrestling show. Like these
that's
they're not
awesome.
they're not messing around. Like they really have a passion for pro wrestling. So I know they kind of get a bad rap with some people as far as the gimmick itself, like the clown
Yeah,
and all that, but like I don't question their passion for pro wrestling.
me neither.
Did you
I'm right there with you. I don't question their passion for professional wrestling and being on a call necessarily. I've got to hear some of their thoughts, Jay's thoughts, and he's utterly super excited. You know, for a guy that's performs in front of thousands every weekend to come into our show and have this excitement brings a new energy, not only to myself, not only to Billy and the team with NWA, but to the boys in the back and the gals in the back. It makes us want to step our game up more. Because he's already announced, like, hey, I would like to, in the foreseeable future, bring in some of the NWA guys to my promotion of Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And that's something it's more eyes on us. And I think as an ability, as a company that's on the rebuilding phase, especially kind of going towards young talent such as myself, it's really neat to say, hey, like this guy already wants to bring us in, and he
mm,
hasn't necessarily. And he's told us too. He's like, hey, I've been watching the product. Like, I love what you guys are doing right now. Your guys are going with a different twist. And for those that have watched NWA in the past 2 months, you can obviously, I think you can obviously tell there's a change of direction of where the NWA is going now.
mm.
Whether that's going towards catering towards young audiences or independent audiences. But we're obviously we know what we're good at, and now we want to expand that and bring in more people and have more eyes. And like I said, individuals in the rebuilding, excuse me, rebuilding phase. So I think it has a lot of cool contentments on the horizon.
I'll definitely agree. Like I'll put I'll say like the Into the Fire era, like that sort of beginning era was like guys will be guys, like we're gonna talk, and it was like very promo heavy, and then
Yeah,
sort of like the pandemic era, and now there's like this youth movement. Like I think that you can see there's definitely distinct eras to the product. So your point is well received as far as seeing like the past couple months, like there's definitely a shift in that. Real quick before I move on to NWA 75, if I have this right, your dad wrestled at the gathering.
He did wrestle the Gathering. That's
Okay, so
right. He's
there is
wrestled.
that link there. So that's what I was like. He's definitely excited. I think for that reason because he's worked there with them
So
before.
that's exciting too. And then my dad's heavily on Instagram and social media, and he calls me about 2 days ago, and he says, "Hey, I got this message on my Instagram, and it's Violent J." And he said, "What's up, Ricky? Can't wait to see you in the foreseeable future, or can't wait to see you in the future!" Exclamation point dash J, and he screenshotted and sent it to me. And I was like, "What? This is cool." And he's like, "Am I booked at the Gathering?" Question mark. And I was like, "I don't know." And then happened to see the Whoop Whoop tweet. I was like, oh shit, this is kind of exciting. This is cool. And it was well perceived too. He was on the phone, and my dad's still heavily influenced with professional wrestling, whether it be with Impact Wrestling, NWA, helping backstage at AEW, helping backstage at WWE, the Performance Center. He's still super, super involved. And for him to kind of get excitement too, it brings a new edge, and he still continues to love this business from the day he started. And I think it grows eager and eager on him more. So with that being said, I think he's just really, really like he was kind of thrilled. He was kind of ideal. Like, this is cool. Like, it's a different culture over there at the Gathering, but if they can bring those guys into NWA and kind of tame them just a little, then this could be something exciting for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I want to get to your match defending against Colby Corino. I like it because it's like an interesting generational sort of legacy matchup. Obviously, you've talked about your dad, his dad, Steve Corino. In the past, I know we've talked to Colby and he's sort of made it his mission to win the title that you have, the NWA junior heavyweight title. He said this title means a lot to him, but what are your thoughts going into this match as far as, not only facing a legacy talent like him, but a guy that really wants to win gold, has a lot to say about that specific title?
My response is too bad. Genuinely, too bad. I mean, look at me. I'm the epitome of professional wrestling. I am everything that I said I am, plus a little bit more when it comes to the atmosphere of the National Wrestling Alliance, the independents. I'm the king of the independents. Matt Cardona can say what he wants, but every single weekend, all over the world, 3 times a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm on the road. I'm flying elsewhere to go to shows. This weekend, same thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be in Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, look, Colby Corino, he's fantastic. Let's give him that. What he's done is magnificent. His story, it continues to inspire me. I got to say that. But he's not champion worthy. He's not a championship material. I am the face. Look at this beautiful face right here in this slide. The face of the National Wrestling Alliance. So for me, it's just another match. I'm going into NWA 75. Sure, I'll have new gear. I'll look cool. I'll be representing the Southern Six. But no, aside, I'm trying to retain the championship. I mean, I'll probably like my 100th title defense by the time I get there to NWA 75. I'm not a job boy. I'm not an enhancement boy. I should probably just relinquish this belt here soon and go ahead and go for the 10 pounds of gold, because I'm just kind of getting a little tired of the competition necessarily. So I'm looking forward to it, though. All set aside, I think he's going to bring a new attitude to the table, and he's going to go remarking on his reign of he should be the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, but he's not championship worthy.
Okay. I've noticed since you sort of came into the public spotlight, you've been a little more comfortable, a little more confident in your abilities. And one specific interview I saw, you interrupted one that Bill Apter conducted. What's with the new attitude? Like, is it just because you've been around wrestling your whole life?
So yeah, I don't think there's a necessarily new change of attitude. In
Level of
wrestling,
comfort.
and comfort, I should say, in professional wrestling, in entertainment, I should say, is people always tend to be someone that they're not. Right? You could probably agree on that. Maybe they tend to be someone that they're not. Well, I realized early on that in my career, pandemic, wrestling these promotions, that people are jealous necessarily, and they're not happy that you're in the spotlight and you're good as you say you are. And so, that being said, I've kind of been given this epiphany of, all right, Kerry, I'm no longer here to please everyone. First and foremost, you got to please yourself. You got to please the people that are paying you these big bucks to do these shows and come in and work their talent and beat their talent. So it was kind of the change of attitude of, okay, I'm the NWA World Champion. I'm endorsed by Ric Flair, by Bret the Hitman Hart, by, Jim Cornette. And I'll break the barrier, kind of Jim Cornette going out of his way and saying, oh, Jim Ross. I'm endorsed by all the legends. They're saying, hey, this is my number one draft pick in professional wrestling. So it's not, I'm trying to stay humbled, and I am humbled very much so, but to the extent of, okay, if I'm going to put asses in seats, if I'm going to be everything that I say I'm going to be, then I need to let the fans know it. I need to let them know it heavily too. That, hey, I'm the champ, baby. I am the champ. I am the definition of what the future lies. So, I'm excited to be in this spotlight. I'm excited to keep revamping our division. But Bill Apter gonna come up to me and say, Kerry, you're disrespectful. Bill Apter can kiss my ass. That's what I have to say. And Bill Apter, I hope you're watching this too, because I'll see you in Ohio in the foreseeable future, and then I might go say something to your face. Might grab the little microphone of yours and throw it on the ground and step on it. That's what kind of attitude I have right now.
Well, you're a social media guy. You're one of my social media clips.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the social media clip.
That's not the ICP stuff, not the NWA 75. Bill Apter kiss my ass.
Sorry, I had to get an attitude with it. I had to get a lot of attitude with it.
It's fine.
One ticket for you, Bill.
One thing I did want to talk about is obviously there's the link to your dad. He's been in your corner. You've worked together. But is there anything that you would maybe use from one of his opponents? Because obviously the Ricky and Robert, like that sort of tag team signature is always going to be there. And I'm sure whether it's something you tried to pick up on or maybe it was like nuance, I think that's a given. But is there anything that you've ever watched with his opponents that you'd maybe like to, or you have integrated into your own work?
Very much so. If you watch my work, I would like to say it's in the likes of beautiful Bobby Eaton. I'm a huge Midnight Express fan. Whether it be, from Dennis Condrey to Bobby to, before Bobby himself or Bobby to Stan Lane. It's kind of that tie of what I love and how a heel should be portrayed in professional wrestling. Where, I can talk the talk, but Bobby didn't necessarily have to talk the talk. And Bobby was known for his beautiful work inside the wrestling ring, inside that square circle. So if you notice, and if you look around my office, there's so much endorsement of Bobby Eaton. I'm such a huge mark. Bobby lived with this for years on end and showed me so many small things. Even as a young guy, before I even got into wrestling, you would tell me, watching matches with them on Independence and watching tapes downstairs in our living room, and him going through the details that a lot of people don't consider. So, that's something that really I try to take and I try to put my perspective. Also, I'm a huge Brett Armstrong fan. So my dad got to work with Brett Armstrong in Foreseeable Future. So I try to tie in their ability and their move sets and their storytelling and psychology into my portrayal of professional wrestling. So, that's something that really ties into me. And I'm always trying to make that ideal and more realistic and more, and I think wrestling kind of got away from the believable aspect of, and I'm not trying to tie on any or rain on anyone's parade necessarily, but I want to bring that perspective back of this guy can maybe kick my ass and maybe I can kick this guy's ass. Or, I don't like this guy because he runs his mouth and he does all this mumbo jumbo stuff and I want to see his ass get kicked. That's the perspective of professional wrestling I'm trying to tie back in. So watching all their work and seeing what they're doing, what they're capable of, I always try to tie in different things. My dad gives me so many pointers, and Robert too. Um, go out of their way to watch all my matches. Robert just called me right before I was in a meeting before this and just tell me, hey, I watched your match on YouTube. I think you can do this better. If you clean this up just a little bit more, this would look much better in the future and start doing this more. And like, I don't take that for granted. Austin Idol, for one, too. I watch a lot of Austin Idol's work, and it's cool that he's in the NWA locker room. Um, and these guys, these young wrestlers, are not taking advantage. That Austin Idol, like, you know, the guy that beat Jerry Lawler multiple times and sold out 10,000 plus arenas in Memphis and Louisiana and so on. And they're not even caring for his opinion. You know, not even going up to him to say, hi, sir, how are you? And that bugs me so bad, because if you know who Austin Idol is, if you're just remotely familiar with him, then you absolutely know the utmost respect for this guy and what he's done for our business. So, you know, I'm always picking their minds. I know too, and I'll say it as well on the podcast, is Nick Aldis before his departure really was hands-on with me. And that's something I'm very appreciative too. You know, tell me, hey, Kerry, your time is going to be soon. This is how you need to start looking at the future. This is how you need to start building yourself in the gym, in the locker room, with your gear, with your mood set, with your mindset. And that's something I'm very appreciative for. That's helped me. I would say maybe to get me where I am now.
Mhm.
So I'm going off and on in your question, and I know, and I'll get back to it. But the biggest thing I'm trying to take away is people kind of get this tie for, we have to do it this way, and this is how the fans are only going to enjoy it, whether it be high spot after high spot after high spot. And that's not my mindset. And obviously, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And that's something you'll get real quickly, is I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But I am to sticking to my roots. I'm a bona fide Southern professional wrestler that wants to entertain people to the best of their ability and show them what professional wrestling actually is. And that's wrestling.
Very quickly, I will say I I like the athletic wrestling and like the high spots and all that, but I wanted to see more of it when there was a lack of it. And now that that's sort of the norm, it's like I see myself going like, okay, I've had my fill. I want more of the story, more of the slow pace, like more variety. Like I
Yes.
don't want everything to be that. It's just I wanted a little bit more of it in certain aspects. So
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that necessarily. And if you notice me, um, on the independents every weekend, I'm on these shows of stacked rosters, whether it be AEW, Ring of Honor, you know, Impact Wrestling, all these great talents from all these other different promotions on the same shows. And it's, I'm not just saying this to say this, and I might get some heat from this, but I see the same format of the match. Like, here's the shine, here's the heat, here's the comeback, let's take it home. And I just want to give fans something different, whether it be me running my mouth or being an absolute asshole to someone or getting my ass kicked the whole match and somehow miraculously getting the victory. I want to give them something different. And that's what I always aspire to do. Every show I go to, whether it be 5 people in the crowd, which there's not 5 people in the crowd. Look, I'm a world champion. There's going to be more than 5 people in the crowd. Whether it's 5 people in the crowd or 5,000 people in the arenas, I want them to remember something that guy was different.
Colby's wrestled his dad. Obviously, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio gets attention. To my knowledge, you haven't wrestled your dad. You've teamed with him. Is that something you would entertain?
I don't know. Me and my dad have a really tight relationship. He's my best friend, so to speak, outside of, my father in real life too. People always ask me, Kerry, why don't you're going to turn heel. I can see it in the future. You're going to do this and that. But why can't I do it with my dad? And as you see now, he's fallen. He understands what the future lies. He understands that Kerry Morton's the future, and he's the now. So especially in the National Wrestling Alliance. So he got smart with it. And he's like, I'm going to jump on board with you. I'm going to do what you want to do. You take charge, you take initiative, and I'll be on your lead. So I don't know. It's something I can maybe possibly entertain in the foreseeable future as a friend, a family friendly wrestling match. You know, if he comes in, if he steps my way and wants my junior heavyweight championship, then we have some talks. And a lot of people don't know this necessarily, and I'm going to announce this now. January of this year on National Wrestling Alliance, we won the team, so to speak, of the winners of every person that won on this team gets a championship opportunity. Well, my dad has not used his yet, and I have not used mine yet. And I don't know what's in the talks and creative and NWA, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to bring that up to a knowledge real quickly because I want to get more championship gold. I want some championship gold with my dad. I think it's up first, something we really, really want. We want to be, you know, you would make him a 10-time NWA World Tag Team Champion, and maybe a first time. And something that's on our list. You know, he's 66 years old. He's tired. He's having a ton of fun, but he knows his time's up soon. And with that being said, I think he's kind of, he said, I got one good, quick run in me again, and I want to do it with you, and I want Robert on our side too. And so, with that being said, Robert, you know, can't wrestle as much as he used to, but it's something that we're teasing, we're bringing up. So, who knows what the future may lie in the National Wrestling Alliance, but I hope it's golden on the Mortons ways.
I'd like to see it. I think one more run would be fun. It would be a heartwarming story. We've covered quite a bit. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Social medias, please, by all means, find me on social media. As you can see me talking my talk on Twitter and Instagram at Real Kerry Morton. Facebook at Kerry Morton. It's a like page out there. Support for professional wrestlers. Something I can preach, if anything, is fans that are listening to this, you know, that knowledge in this show is go out of your way and support independent professional wrestling. Please, that's something I'm huge about, is helping these guys get an opportunity and get spotlight on them. So please, by all means, go out there and support independent professional wrestling.
Is that a Joey Janela hat? You enjoying your bad boy summer?
Enjoying the bad boy summer. Joey Janela, I'll whoop his ass too when he's ready for it. When he's ready for it, tell Joey Janela, tell Brett Lauderdale real quickly why I'm on here. I'm going to go in a little preach, and this could have maybe a little headline, so to speak. I am the next Game Changer Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, whether anyone likes it or not. I mean, I should be. I am everything that they're looking for. I mean, I got the class. I got the skill. I can wrestle anyone on the ring. I'm not some hardcore jabroni, whatever bullshit that they have. I am the definition of a world champion and the face of that company. Blake Christian, I'll give him a round of applause, but he's boring. He's no Kerry Morton. So what they need to do, and Brett Lauderdale, you need to be listening to this too. I'm coming into your show in November because that's the only date I have available because I'm booked every single weekend, baby. I'm going to come into your show. And if I don't get a heavyweight opportunity, I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip big. I mean, that might be tearing down the ring. Might be throwing the barricades out the building. I don't know what lies, but I'm telling you this, and I'm telling you this right now, and mark my words. Within the next year, I'm going to be the face of Game Changer Wrestling, whether someone likes it or not.
That's my headline.
That's your headline.
Right there.
That's your headline.
There you go.
That's selling the tickets.
All right. I got some viral clips with insulting Bill Apter, or maybe just showing them what's coming. You got the GCW headline, plenty of stuff. And go watch NWA 75, August 26th and 27th, 2-night event.
That's right.
I know your match doesn't have a night confirmed yet, but
I would like to say night one. Because obviously, I mean, the champ should main event every night, but unfortunately, that's not the case. It's going. I would like to say night one, and then when I beat Colby Corino, night two, give me whoever. You know, I saw Matt Cordona's promo recently, but I'm running his mouth and mentioning my name at the end. Matt, be careful what you wish for. That's all I have to say. Be careful what you wish for. I think they got someone scheduled for him already, but be careful what you wish for. That's all I have to say.
Two-night affair.
Two-night affair.
Maybe make him. I mean, it sounds like you're willing to work both nights. Maybe make him work 2 nights.
The champ can go an hour Broadway both nights. I mean, that's who I am. I mean, I could go more than an hour Broadway if needed be. But you know what? The fans would probably have to pay more money to see that because, you know, I don't wrestle for free necessarily. So, you know, I'll give them a good 10, 15-minute match, and then I'll beat Colby Corino. But if they want to see more, then they have to pay more because the champ. I'm generous, but not generous enough.
I was going to ask if you preferred a night, but it sounds like you prefer night one.
I'll prefer night one because night two I'll drink a few drinks of Southern Six after night one, and then I'll get in the gym early Saturday morning or Sunday morning, so to speak, do my workout, so to speak, be ready to go. Be ready to go for night two. And whoever that needs to be, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm scheduled to wrestle, but why wouldn't they have Kerry Morton on the card? I mean, Kerry sells tickets, so who knows?